You said that the Saints basically dominated the game. What kept them, in your opinion, from having more than 13 points?
Well, I think the two things that jump out to me, the personal fouls, right, at some really untimely points in the football game. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, you got him backed up, especially early on with that great defense. You got him on the 1-yard line. I know DK Metcalf hit him in the head too, and I hate that aspect of it. But, I think it was the personal fouls and when they happened. And then, I guess the next thing I would talk about is just how about some of the drop passes, especially there. I think that was the third quarter. There was 2 or 3 there that certainly would have put the Saints in the red zone, in scoring position to take advantage of an opportunity there with a Seattle offense that, really did nothing other than an 84-yard touchdown on the 5th play of the game. I mean, it was Strugglesville for them for sure. So that's where I just looked at it. And not that I'm sitting here saying, oh, the Saints should have blown them out. But, I thought through 58 minutes of the game, I was sitting there going, clearly the Saints are the better football team. I have no doubt about that. And I can't believe we're sitting here at a 10-10 game right now, or maybe it was, 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. I was just shocked by that. But either way, never easy going there and winning a game, and the Saints are still tough, and I think a work in progress as we see. And I would say, keep your eye on them because they are going to be – I think they have a chance to be dangerous. I do. It's just when will that happen, and can they get it going here on the offensive side of the ball quick enough?
Well, and what disappointed me last night was they had 2 weeks to get ready for that game, 2 weeks in a day.
Right.
And I expected more of an offensive explosion. I expected something not quite along the lines of 38-3 week 1 in Jacksonville against the Packers, but I thought that they'd have more for a beleaguered Seattle defense.
Yeah.
Even with the weather. And I'm struggling with the idea that maybe Jameis isn't the answer. Not that they should go to Taysom Hill, who is concussed currently and wasn't available last night. But Alvin Kamara, having him around helps. He had 179 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown.
Right.
There's clearly a difference between the way Jameis operates the offense and the way Drew Brees operated the offense. And I know having the deep ball in the repertoire is important, but it just speaks even more to the greatness of Drew Brees that he was able to still make that offense go without the defense having to cover every blade of grass, as you like to say.
Yeah.
I just look at Jameis and I watch Jameis, and I think that the Saints are going to be in the mix for a veteran quarterback, a big name, possibly. Maybe that's where Aaron Rodgers goes.
Maybe.
If he wants out of Green Bay after the season. But I feel like the Saints are going to be in the mix. Maybe that's where Russell Wilson goes. Maybe the next. Well, that was he was on the Saints were on the list of the teams that his agent generated back in February. Oh, my client doesn't want to be traded. But if he is traded, Cowboys, Bears, Raiders, Saints. Well, of the 4 right now, the place I'd want to go, number 1, based on what else they have, is the Saints.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a spot open with the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to do that. And, the
Bears, no.
Yeah, right. Saints, the Raiders situation, we'll see. I don't know. The Derek Carr, I know there's going to be the contract situation and all that. I agree with you. It's the number one question about their football team. I think, 2 things, First off, you're right about Drew Brees. They talked about it on the telecast a little bit. Hey, Jameis's short ball throwing is just not that impressive. It's not that accurate. Hey, for lack of a better way to really describe it or an analogy, hey, you're on a golf course, a little chip shot right off the green. It's just got to be a little short motion and boom, not a lot of moving parts. I mean, for him to throw shallow crosses and 4- and 5-yard routes sometimes, he still has to wind his arm up to do it. So there is that aspect that they miss within the offense. And then, I also think he's playing ultra conservative too. I think he's very aware of wait, I can't be, Johnny turnover guy that I was in Tampa Bay. And I'm sure Sean Payton's all over him with that conversation as well. Hey, this play right there, I mean, that's another play, just late. He was open in the middle. He's backpedaling while the guy's open still. It's a touchdown. There's just so many blown opportunities through the game. How about the first drive of the game with Traquan Smith running down the middle of the field? I believe it was Traquan Smith. They missed that post down the middle where he was kind of like looking at the receiver like, what is he doing? But I think also, Mike, and I'm sorry, is just with Jameis, yes, I think all the circumstances surrounding him, he feels the pressure. There was a few times last night I feel like he had people around his feet, and there's a guy open, and he wanted to throw it, but I think he heard Sean Payton on his, right by his ear going, don't you do one of those dumb interceptions, and he just took the sack. So I think that's leaving a few opportunities on the field, let alone, as you saw last night, and you know this already, their wide receiving core is a work in progress. It's a work in progress right now. There's no go-to guy. They're missing Michael Thomas. Callaway's young. There's no tight end presence. Traquan Smith just got back. I mean, Kenny Stills dropped a pass down the right sideline and would have been on the 5-yard line. I mean, it was in both of his hands. I don't know what the hell happened. So they all got to pick it up a little bit in that department, but it does start with Jameis. You're right about that.
Yeah, and Michael Thomas now is more than a week past
the
opening of the possible window of returning from the physically unable to perform list. And during the main broadcast, and see, this is the problem with watching half Manning cast and half main broadcast, but I'm fairly certain during the main broadcast.
What show was that?
They pointed out, they tried to ask Sean Payton about when Michael Thomas is coming back, and he shut that down. He won't talk about it.
That was the main broadcast, right?
I mean, the cap hit would be significant if they would trade him before next Tuesday, but you have to wonder what's going on there.
Seems weird, right?
And you have to wonder when he's going to be back, because there is something weird. And even though they smoothed it all over, he's still not back, and there's still no indication that he's coming back. And it's all because he delayed surgery until June, something he should have had in February or March. He delayed until June, and we still wait for Michael Thomas to come back, and he got that huge contract a couple years ago, and there's been some friction since then.
Definitely.
And this goes back to the ankle injury he suffered week 1 of 2019. So it just feels like something's up there. There's just something that feels like the Saints are being held back. And when I see a team like that that barely beats an overmatched Seahawks,
right,
on a night when I thought the Saints were going to come out and blow the doors off of them and turn their attention to the Buccaneers this Sunday, I wonder, and I know that the Saints swept Tampa Bay last year in the regular season. I just wonder what's going to happen to the Saints when Tom Brady and company come to town on Sunday. There's a chance it's not going to be pretty.
But I mean, come on. We know Tampa is the real deal, and their offense is as good as that Saints defense is. I don't care who you are. The Tampa offense poses problems for any defense in football. I mean, it almost pose problems for any defense in the history of football, as talented as they are, and with Brady at the helm. So, yeah, you're right, and they're going to need more out of the offense. That's for sure. And more out of the passing offense. As we know, if you want to take advantage of Tampa, for the most part, you're going to have to throw the ball on them a little bit. And it's, not easy task, certainly, but I wouldn't think you're going to be able to run the ball. And you're not going to be able to pin your game plan to, we're going to throw to Alvin Kamara 20 times out of the backfield. No way. Not with that linebacking group and how fast they are and everything there. They'll be all over that stuff. So you're right, a big challenge going forward for them. I got faith in them because of Sean Payton. I do. But, yeah, there was a lot of opportunities and plays that I thought were left on the field last night, whether it was wide receivers messing up, Jameis being, inaccurate, or – even the last third down of the game, another great example. And I don't know if we could pull that up at any point, but he's got the screen to Jawan Johnson, and they showed Sean Payton kind of yelling at Jameis, like, what were you looking at? Because he had it. All he had to do was kind of backpedal and drop the ball off to him, and it looked like he was going to score a touchdown. And but nonetheless, I think he's playing a little scared right now because of his reputation and perception. And I'm sure Sean Payton's beating in his brain a little bit to where it's handcuffing him to a degree. At least it looks like that to me, just a little bit.
I think that's perceptive, and I think that's accurate, because there are times when he seems, I don't want to say discombobulated, but it does seem like he's thinking about too much.
Right.
And those short throws, if you're thinking too much, you are going to be potentially in a position where they're off target. You're trying to be too perfect with your short passes. I feel like he's always thinking about the opportunity to unleash that beautiful deep ball that we saw back in the preseason against the Jaguars. I feel like wherever that deep option is in the progression, he's drawn to that.
Yeah, right.
Because that's how he can show what he can do. And if you get one of those lightning strike moments, it won't necessarily break the back of the opponent, but it's an establisher of Jameis can get it done.
Right.
And I feel like there's tension between him wanting to throw it deep and knowing that he's expected to work these shorter areas even if he doesn't enjoy it as much. It's kind of like the Patrick Mahomes tension. You know I can work it short, but, man, I want to show what I can do. I'm out here under the lights. I want to show what I can do because I know I can throw that ball down the field. And that's something that's been missing from this offense. And I feel like in real time
he wants that.
There's that back and forth that's kind of rattling around in his brain.
Yeah, no, I think he's fighting some demons right now. And, of course, he's fighting for his NFL career. He knows what's at stake, and that's okay. And, hey, at the end of the day, all that matters is they won. He's 4-2, and if he can continue to improve, and we can be sitting here in 2 months and they were going, hey, look at the Saints, they're 9-4. We won't remember some of these throws he's missed and, maybe playing a little uptight early in the year. So he's got a chance to wipe our memory away a little bit. But I'm not going to just put it all on him. It is the rest of the wide receiving core, And, again, it's Sean Payton. You and I know that's a complicated offense. There's a lot of rules, young receivers, new quarterback. There is a little bit of a learning curve there. And I think they're kind of going through it right now for sure. But thank God they got that defense because that defense, was that impressive last night. I mean, Demario Davis, was that not like old school 1988 or 1985 linebacker play or Ray Lewis early career stuff last night? I mean, he was involved in every play, smash mouth football. And I do enjoy watching the Saints beat the crap out of people. I do think it's fun, old school wise.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.